What do you want from the characters in your movie, whether it's narrative, whether it's documentary, whether it's a blurred line?
It's a cliche, but you do want an arc. I mean, you want transformation. That's critical. You want to start somewhere and end up somewhere else. That's how you elicit emotion from the audience. Frankly, that's what inspires you as a filmmaker to keep going, you know, that you are telling a story like that, that can touch people, because we're all inspired by change and transformation. So that's kind of number one if I had to boil it down. And meaningful, non-cliched transformation. That's always the goal, you know, because there is the kind of Hollywood screenwriting 101, right, where, you know, there's this character arc and they change because, you know, it's like, how do you find a fresh spin on that? And how do you maybe find a new dilemma that the audience hasn't seen before? How do you find a new challenge? So this film kind of deals with, I guess, technology addiction, if I can say that, and some stuff that I haven't seen a lot of films explore. So that was inspiring for us. We kind of felt like we were onto something sort of novel here, and that kind of inspired us to push on and keep going. Yeah.
You had an editor, right?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, sorry.
Who just won Best Editor at the Brooklyn Film Festival Awards.
Oh, very nice.
Ash Watson, terrific editor. Yeah.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah.
When you and Ash got into the edit room together, how was it to see the footage and then the rough cut? Did you feel that there was enough of an arc?
Well, I kind of did my own rough cut of the film, which was not great. And, you know, I'm not really an editor by trade, so I worked my ass off to make something not very good, and I was very depressed by the first cut. However, it was the proverbial lump of clay that Ash could then shape. Because if I'd just given him 100 hours of footage, the whole thing would have taken a lot longer, and we really only had 10 weeks to cut the movie. So it was important that I at least gave him something to work with, and that was kind of our launch pad. And he really, you know, he smoothed out the sort of transitions between documentary and narrative. I mean, it's a spectrum, and there's scenes sort of all along the spectrum, you know, with varying degrees of reality. But he made that more seamless. That was really the major contribution he made, and the film wouldn't have worked if he hadn't tirelessly done that. So I'm very grateful to him.
Yeah, you know, I've heard that from other filmmakers, that rough cut, it can be really a sad day for them, you know.
Let's just be honest. The first draft of the script sucks. The first edit of the film sucks. It's okay. Accept that it sucks and just keep going. I've learned not to get too down. You know, nothing is that great the first time out, unless it's a miracle. It's usually by about draft 10 that it's good. For me anyway, maybe I'm a bit slow on the uptake, but I've just learned to accept that making kind of bad stuff is part of the process, and being able to persevere and push on is part of your skill set as a filmmaker, and not to get super bummed out about it, but just say, okay, this isn't great, the next draft will be better, the next one will be better, the next one will be worse, and then the next one will be way better, right? It's a process. So I really accept that, yeah.
In finding distribution for Use Me, are there distributors that are squeamish about the topic of the content, or no? That hasn't been your...
Well, you know, so far we are getting some great bites and interest, and actually I think sex sells. Hey, that's not a new idea. You know, I think there will be, but I think that people have to get their heads around what this film is. Yes, it's sexy, yes, it's controversial, but at the end of the day, it's a really emotional story, and it is kind of a character study. So that's kind of tough for people to hold that in their minds. They sort of want to make it, oh, it's just this salacious, sexy movie, and kind of disregard it. But so far, the critical reviews have been really, really helpful for us. And not in an ego sense at all. But when you don't have stars, critical reviews are like your biggest asset. And we've been blessed with really positive reviews so far. And that's helping us shape the conversation and say, actually, there's a movie here for a mainstream audience. Don't be fooled just by the sexy veneer of it. You know, there's a real story here. There's real emotion and real character-based storytelling. So that's really helping us define what it is for distributors. But mostly they like the sex. Mostly they think it's a good thing. Yeah.